Okay, so hi Shal.
And hello to all the other wonderful weirdos watching.
So back to witches. 1 second. Oh yeah. How did I forget? Much better. Oh, comfy. So comfy. Okay, so back with the witches. We have Met Swallow by Cassandra Khaw. This one was an interesting one. However, I'm not fully satisfied with it. And what I mean by that is, well, the ending is just lacks that little bit of catharsis after you've thought about it for a bit. But even then, it's not as cathartic. We are following the perspective of a fox who finds a body who is already dead, but the body is like, take my skin, my memories, my name, take it. The fox just asks, why give it to a stranger? But all that is asked of the fox is just, please, this body is begging this fox to take her life. And so the fox just has the observation that this body has been dead for a while, but the spirit is not yielding. And so the fox eats the body whole, takes the whole essence of amaranth. Sorry, when names are a little too long, I have to spell it out to my brain. So this fox takes amaranth and transforms into her and starts using the memories to try and get the behaviors of amaranth down, like how she likes blueberries, just the manner of speaking, and gets the sense that amaranth just wants to go home. Amaranth is also keeping memories from the fox, particular memories of who killed her, because she was drowned by a man, but we don't know who. And I think that's like the biggest criticism at the minute I have, is the mystery of the murder. Because the mystery of the murder, it plays on the fox's mind, because the fox just wants to like seek revenge for Amaranth, but Amaranth is almost like protecting the murderer, which I didn't like the resolution of, by the way. I did not like the resolution of, but Amaranth comes home, well, the fox comes home as Amaranth and is with her family again, their two sisters, Lucia and Marianne. I was going to forget one name. But Lucia is the eldest, and throughout the time of the fox coming home, Lucia is just like stood there sweeping, and then it's just like, Amy, he didn't hurt you, did he? And there's this pang of guilt from Lucia, and I didn't kind of like where it went, because the fox is just hiding who they are, really, trying to just play as Amaranth, and hopefully as Amy, the fox can learn some answers, and we learn about, well, the sisters eat each other's pain, and by that, the fox came down to breakfast, and before able to grab a plate, Lucia is just like pulled from the cupboards and then presented a plate of this red thing, not described, it's kind of like a liver, but not a liver. And the Amy Fox is just like, what is this? And Lucia is just like, it's our pain. And Marianne kind of just elaborates, going, we eat yours, you eat ours. And so they've got this thing where they keep eating each other's pain, which to me is just like, wouldn't that just give the pain back if they're eating each other's pain? At what point does it become like redundant? Because if Lucia eats the pain of Amaranth, that means the pain is just going from one to the other, and then that pain is there. And then Amaranth eats Lucia's pain. I kind of feel like it wasn't described very well. And it's just like, I get it. You're supporting each other. But this makes no sense. Like, why do you have to eat each other's pain instead of going to therapy? Sorry. Therapy would be easier, honestly, at that point. Just forced to eat a liver-like, organ-y type thing and experience another person's pain. Therapy would probably work way better. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So, but there's no actual through plot either, which bugged me because I thought this was just going to be like a murder mystery, like who killed Amaranth. Amy Fox is trying to get the lay of the land and spends 10 years as Amy. It spends 10 years pretending to be Amaranth, and there's absolutely no clue as to who actually killed her. And it was just at the end where she's in the garden, and I love the description of the garden. I absolutely adored the garden. Very few bits that we got. Because Amy Fox is just tending to the garden because that is Amaranth's magic is in the garden. And so Amy Fox is just like saying, yeah, the garden didn't take to her at first and fought her, but eventually she got the hang of it, and the garden got used to Amy Fox, and actually they got on better than Amaranth did because as a fox it's more wild and the garden is just as wild, and so they got on and through that connection. But I would have loved to have seen it in practice. It was just stated. She's just weaving ivy through a lattice and just to keep it off the house, I think. But Lucia finally comes into the garden and confesses that she's been neglectful as a sister in her duties because she wanted a god to worship, because Amaranth had the garden and Marianne had the moon. Because also, the quick note on Marianne, she looks like a corpse herself, and the fox is just noting. Does this family not like being dead? They have to come back, and yeah. Back to whatever there is of the through plot. Lucia kind of says that she was just neglectful of her sisterly duties to the magic that they do, and because she wanted a god, she found a patron. And so she kind of like was a bit too into worshipping him. And somehow we got that. So Lucia noticed that Amaranth went missing a few times. And this last time, I don't know, it just seemed very weird thing to be guilty about, because I didn't feel a part of why this was such a problem in the first place, just because you're not beholden to anybody, but if you've got like a responsibility to the magic of the family or whatever, I don't know. I think the flaw is in how this story was presented, because we didn't get much world building, we didn't get much from the magic system, we didn't get much outside of the house. It's just the fox came up, ate somebody, took over their personality just to try and find the murderer, couldn't find the murderer, but we're gonna get a guilt trip speech of Lucia, or a guilt-filled speech that kind of is trying to deflect and say she was just tired. And that's when the fox at the very end is just like, so Amaranth went off by herself with a man. He drowned her, and it's all because you were tired. Amaranth, by the way, is 18 when she died. I don't know much about this world and how the outside the house is enough to see if that's actually going to be a problem or present a problem. So I don't know, it's this story kind of fell flat in depth. It just felt too confined to 3 characters. One of them's barely there because she's just there for the breakfast and that's it. I mean, we do get like snippets of, yeah, they had functions like parties at the house, but it was like glossed over. Like 10 years were glossed over, and I didn't get a sense of time or scale of what's going on. I think the story needed that oomph to it, like just a bit more to like flesh out the world this story is set in, because it just feels very surface level. The ending is good but also bad, because I'll say the bad first, because the good is actually quite the good is quite good, but the bad, we do not find out what happened to Amaranth at all. We don't even come face to face with the murderer, but we are literally having this confrontation with Lucia because she was tired, and that sets off the fox. And the good part is Amy Fox starts burrowing out of the rib cage of the body she is inhabiting to Lucia, who is stuck in the spot because the garden refuses to let her leave, because the garden is also angry with Lucia. Like I said, I love this garden. The garden has a life of its own, and so it's kind of not liking Lucia's explanation of what happened to Amaranth, even though she still doesn't know Amaranth died. And just the fact that we get the tomato plant vows to shrivel and rot its fruit so that Lucia will never know the taste or enjoy the taste of the tomatoes ever. And then there was like some other plant, it's just like, it was the rose bush, fattened its thorns a bit more. The garden's magic held Lucia in place, while Lucia just stands and watches this fox emerge from the rib cage of her sister's body, her corpse, and the fox vows Lucia to live long life knowing what she did, and then scurries away. It's a good and bad ending because I'm not convinced by it. I'm just not convinced by it. I mean, yeah, you could have been there when it mattered most, but also I'm not too familiar with the magic system. The magic system and why it mattered also didn't get explained. I mean, all we have is if they go off too much, they'll get killed by somebody. That's literally all I was able to gather from it, and it's not. I don't know. It's kind of like my least favorite of the collection so far. I think it's just because of the lack of magic, except for the garden. The garden was brilliant, but the rest of it, it just left me wanting. Like I wanted to venture out of the house and into the world and explore that, because there wasn't anything else. It was literally a really nice description of the garden. I would have liked to have had a description of the forest even. Does the forest have a magic? What's society like? What's the broader magic system look like? I mean, I get it if it's a soft magic system and it shouldn't be explained, but still, just a little bit more. Just get a little bit more of what we did get, and it's just we didn't quite get much, unfortunately. So it just left. I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. It had a really cool ending image of a fox coming out of a corpse, but honestly, I think that's where the story may have been built from. Like this is my idea, and I want to build it around. That's kind of what I feel like is the reason why this story exists. Is because of this particular event and trying to build a story around it. It didn't quite work, unfortunately. I don't know. That's the that's the impression I got from it, but I don't know. Shame really. I would have quite liked a bit more explanation of the garden as well. I don't know. Just a bit more fleshing out would have been nice. But either way, that was that was this week's short story. Not much to really say because I don't know, not much plot to it. But yeah. Bye, Shell.
And bye to all you other weirdos watching.
Yeah.